workshop event. And in this workshop, we're going to go over how to create a compelling and effective LinkedIn profile, right? So show you why it's important, why you should have a LinkedIn, uh, show you how to do it, and like the tips and tricks on it, and everything you need to know about it. So since LinkedIn is a lot more detailed in a sense, I don't know if how many of you were in our previous event, but this presentation is going to be a little bit more detailed because there's a lot more to cover. Right? So let's get started with why LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is an online network, kind of like your social medias. So just like Snapchat, I mean, just like Instagram or Facebook, but it's for business professionals, right? So in here you have students such as yourselves, since you are trying to become professionals, you have actual professionals, and then you have, I guess, post professionals that retire and so on. And what makes it different from Instagram and Facebook is this professionalism, right? Everyone there has the same goal in mind and needs to like either spread awareness professionally, find jobs, network, and discover business partners. And it's so important because 93% of recruiters are using LinkedIn to find their future employees, meaning that's where the jobs are at, and that's why you definitely should have one, right? And almost 100% use of LinkedIn, uh, recruiters use LinkedIn to initially screen applicants because LinkedIn is like a bigger summary of yourself. So if you have your resume, then you have LinkedIn, which is even a bigger summary. You have everything you've done in there, right? So why should you be on LinkedIn? As I mentioned before, one of the primary purposes for you to be on LinkedIn is to get a job, right? It's a lot easier. You have all the jobs available on LinkedIn. You have hundreds of companies, thousands of companies, and they all post their job postings in there. You just go. Some of them have like a one-click apply where you just click apply and it applies for you, easy, right? Some others have applications and so on. I will go more into that later. And secondly, you grow your professional network to maintain a positive presence, right? Let's say you have your Instagram. You post a lot of pictures on your Instagrams so people can see you have a nice feed. You like to keep your feed clean. It's the same way professionally. A recruiter goes to your LinkedIn and he will see who you are and what you can do in a professional setting, in a job setting, so they can see your potential. And it's good to have LinkedIn because you keep this presence of yourself in that sense up there, right? And like I said before, use Instagram as your first impression, right? When someone follows you, they see your feed, so you always try to keep it nice. Same thing goes to LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile is your first impression for these recruiters. So your priorities are to keep it on top fold, to have all your summary about yourself, and to have good experience in there, right? So what's the first thing when you start creating your profile? Turn off notifications, right? Until you're ready to launch. Because if you have your notifications turned on and you're halfway done with your LinkedIn, it's going to be like a half done work of art. It's not completed, right? So don't really connect with anyone or have notifications until you're done, until they can see the final product. And next, take a professional photo. You must have a professional photo in your LinkedIn, right? People gotta look at you. You don't accept follow requests from people you don't recognize on Instagram, right? Same thing with recruiters. Make sure you have a picture so they can see your face, and that way they know you're a real person and they can see what you look like. It's not for any other reason. They're not going to be biased or anything. It's just so they can see who you are, therefore trust you more. Like it says here, research shows that profiles with pictures are 7 times more likely to be viewed by connections compared with no pictures. That goes back to the trust thing I was saying, you know? And the image you present in your photo communicates who you are. If you're in a professional suit, if you're in a conference behind you, this shows in the pictures and they know. They can tell your character by the picture. So please use a professional headshot. If possible, obviously. If you don't have anything, I don't know, get a picture from your prom or your graduation. Something when you look nice and neat and have some type of professional clothing. These are some examples. right? On the left, you see the suit, smile, uh, nice hair, nice and neat. And then compared to the right, it's like pictures at the bar. The one on the bottom looks like a mugshot. Don't be that guy, right? Also add a background photo. I personally didn't do this until like later on in the game, but background photos really come in clutch. What I ended up doing was adding something related to my major, so like a little artwork I found, and I just added that, right? And all it does, it helps grabs people's attention. Now they see your profile picture, but if you have a background photo related to something else you do, it gives them more details for that first impression, that first look, right? Then you should work on your headline. Your headline is also what they see. So when people are looking, uh, like when people are on LinkedIn discovering new people, they see your picture and your headline with your name, and whatever you write on the headline. So your headline is critical in increasing the findability. Because if you have your school for your headline, and I go to your same school, that's already a connection I have with you, right? If I see that you're a BS in mechanical engineer, that's already a connection I have with you, right? So you just go, once you're creating your profile, it will ask you all this stuff so you can just fill it in. Make sure you add keywords that effectively identify your expertise, focus, and experience. So like I said, it's just better for connecting with someone, right? If you have NJT and someone at Google also went to NJT and is looking for someone to hire, they will most likely hire you because they went to your same school. They already have that connection with you, even though he doesn't know you or she doesn't know you, right? So this is what it shows when someone looks at the initial look, when someone sees you on the feed, is the name, the picture, like I said, current position, previous position. I'll get more into that, and the headline, which is you should have your school and what's your major, and your current job position if you have any. And like I said, make it more than just a job title. Add your school in there. Add descriptions of your job title, little short description. Don't make it too long. You can make it too long. And add your school major and a description, right? Also, something a lot of people don't do is you can customize your URL. So when you give the URL of your profile to someone, you can actually edit that and make it your name. So as you can see here, you can make it John Jane student. That's an example. I have mine as my NJIT email ID. So JCC56, right? Some people do that. Other people do like their full name, like let's say Juan Camacho. If your name is too common, that might not work. So you can add some numbers at the end. Just make it so it's unique to you and that it's related to you in a sense. So either your name or your NJT ID, which is your email, something that can relate to you. In case something happens, the recruiters know, oh, that's him or that's her, you know. All of this is when you go to edit your profile on LinkedIn, all of it's there. You can edit it there, and that will be your new URL. Also, try to make it something easy to remember. So in case you don't have it handy and someone asks for your LinkedIn, you can just tell them, oh, it's this, and that. This will be right at the top of your head. Right next, you have a space in LinkedIn to write a summary of yourself. So summary is like a more detailed headline, right? So it's like your personal introduction, kind of like the same summary or the same introduction you would give to someone if it was a face-to-face meeting or network. So you want to use the same genuine conversational voice that you would use if you were talking with someone face-to-face, right? Uh, and just tell your reader what you do, and also maybe a little bit why. Don't go too detailed. Don't be writing like a whole essay. Just a short, nice summary, kind of like if you were talking to the recruiter face-to-face. And I don't know if you were here for our last event, but we talked about not selling or telling, kind of like a balance in between, right? So the first paragraph should be a kind of like your objective in your summary in your resume. It should be a short summary, including that you're looking for a job, what type of job you're looking for, who are you, and how to contact you. So a good example is, I'm a second year chemical engineer student at NJIT, seeking a summer 21 internship. Please contact me at njt.edu and then phone number. This is great because it tells them your year, your major, what school you go to, and what you're looking for. And that's all they need to know whether they want to keep meeting you, right? If they're looking for sophomores, that's it. They can see it there. But if they're looking for juniors, they're just gonna keep scrolling and go past you, and that's totally fine, right? But this just to help that more that first look kind of thing, so that they can see and relate to you, right? Your second paragraph should be a little bit more details about you, kind of like your background and kind of like the things you do, right? So you start with your background of why you do what you do and why you're passionate when you're studying. And you can either do this by telling them exactly why you're passionate, right? But if you don't have a story of why you chose engineering or why you're passionate really, you can show them things that can tell them that you're passionate. So if you don't have a story, but you're part of the robotics club, you make drones, you always work on personal projects, you can say that in your second paragraph, and that will tell them it's like, oh, this kid is passionate. Look at all the things he does. Your third paragraph is what you're doing to follow your passion. So if you don't have an explanation for your passion, I guess your third paragraph would just be a second extension of your second. But if you do, in here is where you will describe and highlight all the experiences you have. So all the projects you've done, the industries, whatever, right? Make sure you talk about what you worked on, the problems you faced while you were working on those things, and what you did to solve them, and what was the end goal. They want to see this process of the problems you face and how you face them. This is really important for them because when you work for them or you work at their company, you're going to experience a ton of problems, and they want to make sure that you're capable of solving those problems efficiently. And the fourth paragraph should be like kind of like the icing on the cake, right? You should tell them about all the extra things that are not really involved to the technical stuff. So here's where you will bring in SHPE, right? You tell them about other curricular activities on campus or like within the community, like community service, whatever. Here's where you highlight like teamwork or leadership positions because these experiences help you like shape your interpersonal communication, organization, and like teamworking skills. So this is also important, but not as important. And well, that's why it comes last because it's like the little extra sprinkle you add. And this is an optional fifth paragraph, right? So if you have like too many things, right? If you have too many experiences, you can add a fifth paragraph with lists of words relevant to like what you've studied. So if you've done research, if you've done things that are like really specific, here's where you can add them, right? If you know like a specific language, you can just add those keywords here because those keywords eventually help them find you and help you find jobs, right? Some additional tips is you should write in first person. You should writing about yourself, right? So first person. Use keywords, right? Keywords are effective. Algorithms, the algorithms that work on pairing you with recruiters, they look for keywords, right? So if I'm a recruiter at Google and I want a backend developer that knows Java, let's say, the algorithm is going to find me people that have backend on their summary and Java on their summary, and it's going to pair me with them. So make sure you use a lot of keywords, right? Use paragraph that are like conversational bullets. This allows them to like get info about you, you know, read the summary about you and get to know you. And again, keep that balance between selling and telling and avoid phrases like extensive experience, organized, good communication skills, right? These phrases are too common. They see it everywhere and they're just gonna keep scrolling. They're gonna think you're like the rest of them, like the average person that doesn't really put in effort. And always keep revising your LinkedIn, always keep updating it, right? There's always something you can add to it. There's always something you can look for. So always keep revising and editing. Add your resume. You can add your resume on LinkedIn. And the reason for this is when you apply for jobs, you can submit your resume and recruiters can also see your resume when they go to your profile, right? So add your resume, add cover letters, any rich media that can help you out to like get a job, add any certificates. I'll go more into that later. But yeah, add these things. Some of them are just quick looking. They won't have the time to check out your entire profile, so they will just go to your resume, right? So make sure you have it there. It's really important. These are summary examples. I won't really go into this because I don't want to bore you guys just reading through this. But I left this here so when we give you the slides at the end, you can go back and read them and spend your time analyzing them. More examples and more examples. Again, I'm not going through this. It's a lot to go through. So on your own time, when you get the slides, just look at them and spend that time, right? Also list your relevant skills. So like I said, LinkedIn is an extended resume. And in LinkedIn, you can list your skills. There's a section for skills, right? It is one of the quickest of quick wins on LinkedIn. They have a list of skills. So if you start typing like AutoCAD, it will pop up, it will auto pop, and like you can just select it, right? And the reason to do this is that it's another description of yourselves and what you can do and what you can provide for the company. So it's really important. All your key details are here, or your kind of like or your skills are here, right? There's nothing more to say. It's just what you can do. It's here. So make sure you update your list of skills. Keep it as long as possible, right? That makes you more adjustable to the different types of jobs. So please take time and look through all the skills. If there is something you think it might be irrelevant, doesn't matter, add it there. If you work like as a cashier, fast foods, look for a skill that relates to that and just add it there, right? You can also add your experience. Like I said, it's an extended resume. There's a section for experience. And like I said before, make sure the relevant experience is first. So experience that's most related to your job and also the most recent one. And a quick example is like the company name, or you can then you also list whether it was an internship or co-op, full-time, whatever. Then you list out like the description, right? So make sure you highlight your experiences. Make sure you highlight what you did and what you accomplished. There's also going to be a section for education. Here you can add everything, all your current studies or your past studies. I have high school in mind, just in case like people from high school want to add me or something. They can find me through that. But yeah, you want to put like NJIT, the degree, BS in mechanical engineer, BS in computer engineer, whatever. Your expected graduation year, your field of study. So I know some majors have like tracks. This where you will add that, right? If you're an electrical engineer and you're going for the power track, you can add this as a concentration. If you have minors, make sure you add it here. Add your class status. Add any
I have
important
a question.
involvements. Yeah, go ahead.
How do you add the minor? I don't think there's a button for like where it says degree. It says how it says like Bachelor of like arts or Bachelor of Sciences. What do you search for to include like a bachelor, like a minor?
Yeah, I don't think like a minor kind of like counts as a degree by itself. So you can just add it under like the comment section. Not the comment section,
Oh,
but like
okay.
the area where you can type and you can like
Yeah.
type it out. Minor in math, let's say.
Thank you.
Mhm. And also a description like your GPA is important. Most jobs have like a 3.0 cutoff, so they always want to know your GPA. So make sure you have that there. And also don't be scared of like asking questions like Jesus did. Just unmute yourself and like interrupt me. It's fine. And going back to the first slide, remember the priorities, right? Which is making sure your headline describes who you are, right? And it includes your specialties. Make sure your summary is top notch. It includes who you are, why you do it, and the things you know. And finally, your experience, your skills, all the jobs you worked on, all your outside extracurricular things. Make sure everything's top notch, revised, and up to date. And the rest is filling fields in that are not directly relevant to your field, but describe more about you, right? So you can put like volunteer passions, causes, and organizations you belong to. So let's say you support the Black Lives Matter movement. You can have this on LinkedIn, right? These things are really important. People discuss them on LinkedIn. You can have that there. You can show your support. You know, this gives the recruiters like, okay, this person cares about things that are bigger than himself. Things like this. Make sure you add in there. Don't be afraid, right? Also add any honors and awards. If you were on the dean's list, if you got scholarships, add these things there. Add test scores like SATs, subject SATs, things relevant to your field, the field engineering test, things like this, right? Add publications. I know one time, uh, this company I worked for, they wrote like an article about me, so I have that there linked to my profile. Add things like patents if you have any, things like this which are extras per se, but that can really help them know who you are as a person and what you do and why you do things, right? And make sure you stand out. LinkedIn has a paid version. I think it's called LinkedIn Pro. And with that, you can see how you stand out compared to the rest of the applicants when you apply for a job. So like recruiters have access to these features, right? They can see how you compare to the rest. So make sure you're always standing out. You can look up anyone on LinkedIn. So make sure you look at people like you, right? Similar people like you from other colleges, other universities, and make sure compare yourself to them. Compare your LinkedIn profile to them. You might not have the best qualifications, but if you have, you can compensate it for other things, right? Make sure you stand out in whichever way possible. Uh, you can do this by endorsing. So one of the cool features about LinkedIn is that when you post something, and let's say I like it, if you post something and I like it, all my connections see that I like your post. So your post shows to all my connections. And even if you only have 20 connections, you can end up getting hundreds of likes because those connections that like your post and it keeps multiplying like that, like a chain, like a tree, and it keeps growing. So make sure you show love so that people can show love back to you and you can grow your network and people can see whenever you post something. Uh, so once endorsements start to come in, you might find like the necessity to put more emphasis in your LinkedIn profile in ways that don't reflect who you are, right? So it could be that your core area of expertise is content marketing, for example, but people who have worked with you on events are more enthusiastic endorsers, right? You just got to be proactive in managing your endorsements. Uh, there's edit features for your skill sections, and you can choose which to show and which to hide and things like that. Endorse some other endorsements. I'm sorry, I missed this. Some other endorsements is that let's say I work with you in the same company and you have a skill that say like Java, I can endorse that too and basically say that you're qualified for that skill. That's a really good feature that not a lot of people use. So make sure you endorse people so that they can also endorse you back and make sure you like their stuff so they can also like your stuff back and you can grow and you can get endorsed, which is like certified by your peers. On LinkedIn, you can also take skills assessment. I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but it's gonna be here. So when you look at the slides, but yeah, you can take skill assessments. So let's say you think you know AutoCAD, and you tell a recruiter, "Yeah, I know AutoCAD," well, they have no way of knowing whether you actually know AutoCAD because you could just be lying. LinkedIn has tests and quizzes which they test you on, like let's say AutoCAD, and if you pass the test, they give you a LinkedIn certified certification, and you can put this on your LinkedIn. So if I'm a recruiter and I see that LinkedIn certified you for AutoCAD, that tells me for a fact that you know AutoCAD. And it's just way better because now I know it. Now I know that you know, and I know that you can be useful for the company and for the job. So make sure you look at those assessments, make sure you take them, you can study for them, pass them, and that's like a guaranteed by LinkedIn that you know what you're doing and that you're telling the truth and you know what you're talking about, right? Uh, you can also request recommendations. So with LinkedIn, you can recommend people and people can recommend you, right? So like I said, LinkedIn is all about networking, about talking with people, interacting with people's posts and people's profiles. So check out the recommendation section of your profile and you can see all your contacts in there and you can see all the requested recommendations. and just make sure you explore all of this and get the most out of it. Also, showcase your passion for learning. You can do this by showing all the skills assessments you have done, showing all the certifications, showing all the courses you've taken, right? If you go to like something like Coursera, I think you can link them with LinkedIn and they can see that you're taking this course, right? Show this passion for learning. Recruiters are always looking for this in someone that's always going out of the way, learning more, acquiring new skills. They're looking for people like this. So make sure your LinkedIn profile showcase this one way or another.
Juan, I have a question, if you don't
Yeah.
mind. When you're writing a post, can you tag people? I've seen that some of them they're able to do that, right?
Yeah, you can tag people.
How do you tag people?
I believe the way it's done, you just start typing out their name and it should pop up. It should it should be similar. Yeah, I think that's how I've tagged people before.
All right, I
Yeah,
figured.
you write their name and it should pop up underneath.
Yeah,
Like,
so
okay,
when you write a post, just put the at symbol and then start writing their name, and then it
Oh,
should pop
okay.
yeah,
up.
I was
exactly.
like putting their like name in like cap.
Okay, yeah. And it should pop up there. And the good thing about that is that the post you tag them on automatically shows to all their connections on their feeds. So you're not only sharing it with your connections, but also with theirs. Uh, I mentioned this before. You share anything that's relevant to you from your feed. So if I see that Jesus posted something and I liked it and I want to share it, I will share it. You know, when a recruiter sees this, they know I'm interested in things. They know I network and they know it's just to get to know who you are a little bit more. You can also add comments. When you add a comment, people will see that you added a comment and their post, that post that you commented on, gets shared to all your connections. And if your connections comment, then it gets shared to all their connections. And like I'm saying, it's like a giant tree that can be made. I've seen people get thousands of likes, thousands of comments when they only had like two connections originally, right? It's a great way. I've seen great stories on LinkedIn on like why someone needs a job, why someone couldn't get a job, someone that had a job and that they canceled on them. And then you see thousands of comments in their comment section of recruiters saying, hit me up, I can get you a job, right? So make sure you interact, make sure people interact with you, make sure you find a way of getting your post and your feed out there. You can also follow relevant influencers, right? Influencers are there. Like I said, it's just like another social media. If you look up Elon Musk, he's there. And this shows in your feed. So recruiters will see who you follow. They will see who your interests are. And once again, it's just so they can get to know you a little bit more. Final note, getting your LinkedIn profile can be kind of hard and it can take hours of your time. Even though it is a social media, it's not as simple as like Instagram or Facebook, right? There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of things you can do, a lot of things you have to edit, and a lot of information you need to give for it to be like a good working profile. So make sure you put a time aside, few minutes over your lunch break, whatever. But once your LinkedIn profile is ready, it will look like a full masterpiece, and you'll be amazed like by what the difference it can make. I get LinkedIn sends notifications if you allow it to send notifications to your email, and I get like weekly summaries of my LinkedIn, and I'm just amazed by how many people my account reaches without me having to do anything, right? So I get notifications like you have appeared in 20 searches this week, meaning people either search me up directly or indirectly, right? So without me logging into LinkedIn for that whole week, 20 people still found a way of seeing my profile and checking me out. So make sure it's up to date and it's at the best it can be. Some helpful resources, just like last time. The resume workshop material QR code is there. That was the our last event,
And
and yeah,
yeah,
Brian is gonna post
I
the
have the
link.
one for these slides. So
Hmm.
if you can let me share real quick.
Yeah,
Thanks Juan for presenting. It was great once again. I'm loving how much you know about LinkedIn. I think there's a bunch of stuff I didn't even know, even though I had part in helping make these slides. But just a second. All right, so if you guys can see my screen, um, these are the QR codes to these slides, and as well as a QR code to a LinkedIn cheat sheet. And what the cheat sheet really is, it's a thing. It's basically a nice summarized, like 2-page PDF uh, format in which you can really see exactly the LinkedIn on a piece of paper, and that way you can follow along, and it tells you step by step as to what things you should be focusing on. It can be something you start off with, and then once you're in the process of improving, make sure you refer back to these slides because it is very important to take your LinkedIn to the next level. Aside from that, make sure you guys add all of us on LinkedIn. If you just search up our names, we should come up. Another cool thing about LinkedIn, which I guess I'll share real quick just because I think it is pretty neat. But if you go on LinkedIn and you search up, you see Jesus Mexico right here, and it says first. So first means you're connected to this person, and anything aside from that. So let's type a name, right? Let's type Pablo or something. Second means that you're one connection away from that person. So someone who is in my network is connected to this person, but I'm not connected to this person, is what that means. So that's just nice to know in regards to like maybe this person's in a position that you like, and then you can say, hey, like we have some kind of mutual connection, and I was hoping to pick your brain on XYZ, right? So that's also really nice to see. But make sure you guys are consistently updating your LinkedIn, as it's very important. Make sure you like Jesus's new post as well. Very excited for him to start his new position with Pico. Aside from that, I dropped our Instagram somewhere in the WebEx. For those who are watching the recording, it's at NJIT Shep on Instagram, and I'll try to put the Discord in the description of the YouTube video. I feel like a YouTuber. Um, Aside from that, make sure you guys stay up to date with what we're doing through the Instagram and Discord. I'll put the membership form as well. It's in the WebEx link. Once again, I'll try to add it in the YouTube description as well. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, you don't have to do that one. But thank you guys for coming out once more and spending the time here. Hope you guys learned a lot of valuable information and can take this going forward and really improve what you guys have.